Hi everyone, my name's Dave Fitzpatrick. I'm an educational consultant for RM Education, and I just wanted to make this short video looking specifically at Google Hangouts and student safeguarding. Now, over the last few weeks since the outbreak of the coronavirus crisis, Google have made some important changes to the way Google Hangouts works for schools, and I just wanted to run through those quickly with you now. The first of these is that Google gave all schools the enterprise version of Google Meet, which basically enabled meetings to be recorded and also for the teachers to use something called Stream, which is a one-way broadcast of a Google Hangout, not collaborative or interactive. And there's a video about this on our website if you're interested. The other key changes that Google have made is they've said that only the meeting organizer, in other words the teacher, can remove a participant from a meeting. So in other words, students can no longer remove each other or in fact their own teacher from a Google Meet. And they've also prevented students being in a meeting without their teacher. And again, in this video, I'm going to teach you how to do this. And the last thing is that they've made a change so that only the meeting organizer can allow an external participant into a meeting. In other words, if you don't have a school domain Google account and you try and go to a meeting with the correct URL, the only person that can allow you into that meeting is the teacher. Whereas before, anybody in the meeting could add that person, which was causing some disruption in some schools. So what I'd like to do now is demonstrate the most effective way to use Meet to support student safeguarding. So if I click on the 9 squares, the mosaic, and I click onto Meet, and I click onto Join or Start a Meeting. If I don't provide a nickname here, if I just click onto Continue, I'm just going to switch off the camera and microphone for this video, but if I click now onto Join Now, I am presented with this URL. And for those of you who have been using Meet, if you then give this URL to your students, they can join your meeting. Just for information, if you go on the bottom left, meeting details, you will always be able to get that URL from there. But what you need to understand is that students using that URL can now join this meeting at any time, regardless of whether you are in or not in the meeting. So if I can demonstrate that, I'm just going to come out of this meeting. I'm now going to go across to my student account and I'm going to paste the URL of that meeting into my browser. Again, just going to switch the camera and microphone off and I'm going to join now. So you can see now I am in this meeting on my own, and other students may be joining this meeting and having a discussion, having a chat, and the teacher isn't there. Instead, you may want to do this. I'm going to click onto the 9 squares, click onto Meet, click onto Join or Start a Meeting, but critically this time I'm going to give the meeting a nickname, and I'm going to use the nickname Dave. Click onto Continue, and click onto Join. So now I've got a meeting, but the only difference is I've given the meeting a nickname. I've still got my meeting URL here. The difference now though, because this meeting has a nickname, is that a student can only join it if I am in the meeting. So if I illustrate that, again, I'm going to go through to the student account and I'm going to paste that URL in and I'm going to join the meeting. And you can see here, 2 of us are in this meeting. I'm going to come out of this meeting as the student, go back to the teacher, and I'm now also going to come out the meeting as the teacher. If the student then goes back and pastes the same address here, you can see it now tells me there was a problem joining this video call. Because this meeting has a nickname, a student can only join the meeting if the teacher's actually in it. If they're not, they will get this error. So this can help because as the teacher, I can go back and start my meeting. Again, you can use the same nickname if you'd like to. Join now. I have the URL there to give to my student. The students then can put in the URL into their browser and join the meeting. And again, now that both of us are in this meeting. But once the lesson is finished, if I go back to the teacher now at the end of a lesson can click onto the number of people in their lesson. They can ask their students to leave, and those that don't go into the correct person they want to remove and click onto remove that student and click onto remove. So now nobody is in my meeting as a teacher. I can now leave the meeting. When I go back to the student and paste in the URL, you can see that I get that error message again. So by adding a nickname to your meeting and by making sure all the students have left your meeting before you finish it, you are preventing any students from being in the meeting unsupervised. Thank you. What I want to do now is just go through some of the key admin settings I would make in order to maximize safeguarding when using Google Hangouts within a school. So this would need to go to the super administrator within your school. And once they go to the admin console, they click onto the apps, they go to G Suite Core Services, they go to Google Hangouts, and then they go to Meet Settings, and that's illustrated in this slide. And these are the settings I would recommend. On the left-hand side in red is the staff settings, set at the staff organisational unit, and on the right, the student settings, set at the student organisational unit. And if you look, for example, the teachers can record a meeting, stream is switched on, and they're allowed to make video calls. Whereas for students, these are all switched off, and this is important.